welcome Danielle Lafaurie, Dani, my very talented cousin who will share with us the journey as a creative director with a very acute and sensible eye. She will present a few recent projects that express her uniqueness and very personal vision of Colombia. Welcome, Dani, and before you start, tell us where you are.
Thank you, Marce, and the World Hope Forum for the invitation. I'm very happy to share with you some of my projects. So I am 1 hour and a half away from Bogota in a beautiful, dry forest. So I'm spending the weekend here with my babies, and I took this beautiful moment to spend it with the birds that come around all the time. So I'm going to share with you the presentation. Please let me know if you see it.
Perfect. Is everybody seeing it okay?
Perfect.
Great. So my name, as Marcela said, is Danielle Lafaurie, and I studied industrial design and literature. I didn't finish literature, but it's part of my mind, in my mind all the time. So I want to begin doing a little introduction saying that Colombia is well known for its nature. Almost 50% of the country is forest and jungles, but I live in Bogota, a chaotic, enormous 8 million people city that it's home for a lot of cultures that come from all around of Colombia, and that it's also very mixed with international urban logics. So in my work, you'll see all the time the dialogue between the rural inspiration and the urban logic. I feel strongly Latin American. And also a very specific thing about Colombia is that it's the entrance of South America. Therefore, I love always to say that my north is the south. I want to show you 3 projects today that exemplify how Colombian roots can potentialize contemporary languages and add and potentialize the Glocal concept from local to global. So one project is on fashion, one is in jewelry, and one is in photography. The first project is on fashion. It's called Olga Piedrahita. Olga Piedrahita is my mother, and she's been on the market for the last 40 years. We have a brand that has this fabulous slogan, in my way of seeing, that it's stitches and stories, and that we are interested in that every piece we do tells a story and has no seasons, because we, as a tropical country, we don't have seasons, and is the result of mixing all the creative languages around fashion. So this is our 2024 collection. It's very colorful and full of prints, but I want to tell you exactly how those prints came alive. We worked on different shapes on how we got to desire, and we took the traveling as one of the main sources of desiring right now. So we invited some talents like number 1, Carolina Upegui, number 2, Rodrigo Echeverry, number 3, Manos Sucias, 1 architect, 1 artist, and 1 illustrator team to do in their ways of seeing how traveling looks for them. So they gave me these beautiful drawings, and I did different collages with them, and I did the graphic design. Then I passed the materials to Olga, and Olga did the collection. The collection was made for a textile company that is called Lafayette. They've been more than 60 years in the market, and they do digital printing. So for us, it's also very interesting that everything we do has a sense of Colombianity. So the company is Colombian, so they sell the textiles, but we sell the clothes made out of those textiles. So it has been a great excuse for me to do as graphic designer and to potentialize the works of so many talented Colombian artists. So this is the first collection. Then we're going through 3 different other products that we've been doing on exploring local materials, on finding originality in different places of Colombia. So as Ana and Rosana already mentioned, there is a beautiful small town 7 hours away from Bogota called Barichara. And they have a place that it's called Fundación San Lorenzo de Barichara, and they do pineapple paper and they do fique paper. So was very inspiring to go there because they work with a time that has no time, with a no time. And we wanted to take a part of that to our own fashion universe. So Olga and I found a way to turn that paper into textile, or that was easier to stitch and then turn it into fashion clothes. We loved the result it gave because it has also a lot of conversation on how long will it last? How long will my dress last? Of course, it's paper. Of course, you can wear it, but it won't last so long. Or if you take a good care of it, it can last longer, but it will have the signs of time. So that's also very interesting for us because we want to do pieces and products that people want to keep forever or for a long time and mix with their own rhythms and their own styles. This second material, local material, is called cotton. It's a cotton made in another small town of Colombia, in Santander also. It's Corpo Lienzo. It's an NGO that gathers 61 families around cotton. They sow, grow, harvest, pick up, spin, dye, and weave the material. The look of the final material is a little bit like a liquid. So what we try to do is mix it into our own universe, where Olga's universe is also very constructed. So it was a challenge, a big challenge for us to take that material, put that into our own universe, and see what happened in the develop of turning it into a high fashion material, calling it high fashion as it looks like very high finished. The next collection was mixed wools, fique, but what I want to show you here is Olga asked me to do the accessories for the collection, and I was trying to think how did I begin to think of accessories with those pure and interesting materials that she was working with. And I found that we had a lot of hair wigs. So I began to play with the wigs and to do the shoes of the collection also. That was super interesting because we found some fique soles that were made in Santander, and then we did the shapes with the wigs, and afterwards it was a beautiful part of the collection, of the concept collection. The second project that I want to talk about you today is my personal project, and it's on jewelry. It all begins with a beautiful Flor, the artisan, and with the pouch. We all have seen everywhere in the world that when we are at the beaches or walking in the streets of so many places, you find these little animals made out of palm tree leaf weaving. So in 2014, Olga, my mother, commissioned me to do another collection of accessories for the brand, for Olga Piedrahita. So I began with this project. Then afterwards, it converted me into my sign project. So I was going from my house to my office, and I found in front of my house Jorge William, and he was selling these little animals, the grasshopper. Then you will see afterwards, you will all recognize it. And I bought some products of him and sent him to talented and amazing William that has developed an industrial process, but in a very crafty way. That is turning the palm or alive materials into metallic pieces. So I took some pieces of Jorge William and then to William, and he made these, the first ones that were the grasshoppers, the first one here. So afterwards, when I found out that it worked, it has been a huge and a long way to develop it in a way that I can keep on buying things from Jorge William and from Flor and from other weaving communities in Colombia that develop small animals for the kids to play. So I buy the animals, and then I also have developed some of the animals with them. And I always try to see with new eyes ways of weaving, so I can keep them for the animal collection and then transform them into jewelry and into accessories. That has been an amazing world to explore through the animals. And then these little animals have been with me for more than almost 10 years. And afterwards, people ask me, do you have new ones? Do you have a new collection? So I don't think this as a collection, as new collections, but as a line that has arrived to me, and then I want to keep it alive. So I've been developing animals and other concepts around ways of weaving and with mixing, and to turn them into jewelry. So these pictures, I've done them like 5 years ago. And Vélez, that it's a company from Medellin that is now more in it has leather. Well, Vélez, it's a company that makes leather goods, handcrafted leather goods. So they asked me to do a collection for them. So they wanted me to talk about my process and that show people how artisan thoughts were introduced in every of the products that I do, and that time when you buy a crafty or an artisan, you buy the time that they're doing. So I did a collection for them on the world of bees. So this is a little video to share with you. Observar una pieza artesanal es ver todas las historias que hay detrás de ella. Cuando tú te sumerges en entender una técnica, ves que es mucho más que lo que tú estás viendo ahí. Estás comprando horas de pensamientos de las personas que lo hicieron. Me interesa mucho mezclar lenguajes, tanto los de ellos con los míos, y podernos sentar a conversar creativamente alrededor de crear. Un producto hecho a mano habla de todo el tiempo que se le ha invertido, habla de todos los pensamientos que los artesanos han tenido mientras realizan ese trabajo artesanal. And to finish with this second jewelry project, I show you this image that was the last pictures that I did with your beautiful noir mode silk clothes, Marce. It's this beautiful necklace. So there are some ritual necklaces that different indigenous uses in their ways of singing and of doing music and of doing their own rituals. I buy those necklaces made out of seeds. I turn the seeds into gold seeds, and then I redo the necklaces. So only by going the things through me, they become new. And I love how people give me new eyes of looking the things that inspire me the most. So it has been a beautiful and challenging way of developing my own language. But what am I good for is to mixing languages. So I don't want to work alone ever in the world. So the third project that I'm going to show you, it was a beautiful, beautiful country campaign we did for Colombia. So I was working with a photographer, Ruben Afanador. He's a Colombian photographer that lives in New York. He's specialized in portraits and fashion photography. And the country Colombia commissioned him some pictures. And he said, I want to do some pictures that show the richness of the Colombian landscapes. And I want to also add to the images, culture and music. So we found an amazing team that we did this beautiful work that I'm going to show you. So these are behind the scenes. So I'm always behind of him looking at this amazing country. We began the travel in Carnaval de Barranquilla. Amazing carnival full of music, of culture, original, more than 40,000 people dancing together in different rhythms, a lot of Afro music, a lot of indigenous music, a lot of new techno sounds, and of costumes that they all do. Then we traveled to Valledupar, Rio Guatapuri. Afterwards, we arrived to the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, a sacred place where Not many people have gone there, but Anna already showed you today. Beautiful, amazing places. It's like going 200 years before in one day. Then we went to La Guajira, to the desert, where the desert meets the sea. Then we go to the salt mines of the same Guajira, to the Tatacoa Desert, a small desert that we have in the middle of the country and in the middle of the mountains, because the mountains is another very interesting surroundings that we have in Colombia. We have three big mountains, so we are very mixed. So Bogota is cold, but 1 hour away, I'm here sitting just with a t-shirt, because we have an altitude logic and not a season logic. So we live in the tropics, always tropic. So this is Cerros de Mavecure, the middle of the jungle, and these amazing mountains. And then I get to explain how we did the characters. So at the left side of the picture, you see Felipe Cuellar. He's an amazing, talented artist that has a project that it's inspired in this biblical sentence that said, to dust we shall return. To dust we shall return. So he creates characters with volcanic ashes, and he mixes them with colors. So Ruben was interested that Felipe did this creative interpretation on characters that they developed together and that we developed together with different singers and group musicians. So the first thing we did were sketches. Felipe did them. So this was how he understood the characters that we wanted to do, and they were all made with earth materials. So we used palms, we used fique, we used colors, and that was also part of what we wanted to share, that we don't needed a lot of imported things to do what we thought it was the most strong language that we could find to do the artists. This amazing, beautiful, talented singer is called Goyo. She's from Chokip Town. So if you wanna hear Colombia, remember these names, or then go to them again, so you have the best party ever. So this is Chokip Town. This is first dancer of the London Ballet. He's called Fernando Montaño, and we did the beautiful character out of him. What he has in the head is a mochila made of in one of the south parts of an unweaved mochila, and the small skirt he has, it's made out of hats, of the beginning of how they weave the hats, and then my small earrings as pezoneras, as gold, the gold touch. Afterwards, we find Sistema Solar, one of my favorite groups of music. Caribbean meets Afro meets techno music. They are super talented. And then Bomba Stereo, also Caribbean meets techno meets the most amazing party. And these were the final pictures that we did for the campaign. For me, it was super interesting to see how we could understand a country campaign with the 3D emotional points of view, how I see it, because it's the nature mixed with the culture. So this is El Colegio del Cuerpo, an amazing dance group. And then we turn those dancers into characters through Felipe's work. So we did a great weaving talent campaign, and also through music was one of the ways that we thought that people can connect it more with the country. So this is Chokip Town in the Tatacoa Desert. This is Aterciopelados in the Carnival of Barranquilla, but at the same time in La Guajira. And this is Fernando Montaño in the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. This is Sistema Solar in the Salar of La Guajira. And this is my way of finishing to saying that we are a very original place to be, because we have never seen before with so many new eyes as we're seeing today, Marce.
Dani, incredible presentation. I'm blown away. I have to admit that I was not aware of a lot of your creative direction project. You're very, very talented. I think your point of view, your eyes is incredible. And thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
I think
Okay.
maybe you gave Lee a heart attack overdose of beauty, because I can see the comments coming from the audience. We're all blown away by the sophisticated beauty of what you're presenting, and the Colombianness in each of these images is so inspiring. So even though the people in the audience can't say wow and amazing, I'm saying it for them. And Lee, maybe you want to also mention something, since I'm sure you were also blown away.
Well, I'm just so sad that I didn't have these photos when we made the Proud House book. That would have been very welcome. It's very interesting to try to understand your culture, because it's so mixed, it's so melted that it becomes something new altogether. In a way, it sort of, at first it's all different things, and then it coagulates into something palpable or something. Maybe very close sometimes to, I think, to culture of South Africa, which also is so completely warped with all people, who went through their veins of the country. But it's very, very powerful in all the presentations that we see really a culture which is very different from the other countries near to it. It's spectacular. It's very interesting, very creative, actually.
Danielle, some people are asking where they can purchase some of your jewelry. I don't think it's through your website. So what should they do if they want to inquire about one of your pieces?
They can write me through Instagram or write me on my website. I'll be there.
Okay,
Can I
perfect.
ask?
Also, you're coming to Europe soon, so you could bring.
Yes, I'll be there, and I'm trying to go to Mallorca to
Obviously.
join you in the amazing extent.
Can you give us prices of the animals, of the fish and the?
They are depending on the sizes, but they are between 200 euros and 400 euros, depending on the sizes and the shapes of the animals.
Okay.
And
are they like brooches, or they are just standing little?
they're brooches. Most
I have
of them
a
are
few here,
brooches.
and I can ship, Danny. Maybe you tell me and I
Yes.
can do the shipping from here.
Thank you. Great. Lee, adding to one thing that you said that I think it's also a very important part of our identity is that we are a country that it's very, very diverse in culture, but we mixed Afro cultures that Catherine talked so good about them and so strongly, and indigenous cultures. We have more than 60 indigenous cultures alive, and that makes us rich. So it's very, very inspiring to go deeper here.
60 different African identities, 60 indigenous identities, that's 120 different identities just from these two parts. My God.
Yes.
It's
Maybe the next
super
Proud
interesting.
South Colombia, Lee. That do next Colombian Proud South.
Yeah.
Great.